this is Britain, where we believe in freedom. For over 800 years we have kept our shores safe from invaders, and for 800 years we have opposed every dictator who arose and tried to enslave Europe. For this is Britain, where we believe in freedom. We also believe in peace, peace to develop our inheritance. This was the Britain we inherited from the Industrial Revolution, and this is the sort of Britain we have been trying to build during the years of peace. A new Britain in which every one of us might have a home of which he was proud. A gigantic task we undertook to rehouse the urban population in well-built, well-lighted, well-ventilated flats to replace the tumble-down slums of the past. In new settlements of neat houses with gardens, pleasant to look at, delightful to live in, easy to work. We had no use for war. We had no designs on others. Our only enemies were the common enemies of mankind: poverty, bad conditions, the rigors of the northern climate, disease, and we had them on the run. It seemed to be the beginning of a new age, and is it to stop because one man chooses to try and force his outworn ideas on Europe? A Britain of new factories as well as new homes, where people can work in healthy surroundings. A Britain of new schools where our sons and daughters are equipped for life and taught to be good citizens of their country and of the world, in which the importance of physical health and clean living are taught. In the old days at school they used to tell you mens sana in corpore sano. That old phrase used to be mumbled to boys who didn't know what it meant by old men who didn't mean what it said. Nowadays we say you can't enjoy life or pull your weight if you're ill. And the consequence is we all try to keep well and everybody's much better off all round. Yes, even school teachers have become human. They realized that children had a right to be happy, that the youthful mind was a delicate instrument to be trained for the future good of all. Is this to stop because one man wishes to dominate the world? A Britain of new hospitals, where disease can be prevented as well as cured, where the old atmosphere of gloom and ignorance has vanished, and even very little people can enjoy their cure. Nowadays it's quite a pleasant adventure to be listened to with a stethoscope. And here's somebody taking the waters. A Britain of new infant schools and welfare centres, where busy mothers can leave their children while they work, where the children themselves learn to become busy mothers. No, it's father. This ridiculous modern craze for washing. A new Britain, where leisure and pleasant surroundings in which to enjoy leisure plays an increasingly important part in everyday life. For we believe that when the day's work is done, or when bank holidays come round, life is meant to be enjoyed by all. And we were trying to make it possible for everybody to have the time and the means to enjoy it in their own way. Holidays with pay for all, when those who live in towns can get away to the coast and refresh themselves in the sunshine and sea air, or at weekends can get out into the country, play games, go swimming. We think this is a life worth living. Are we to lose it because one man seeks to destroy civilization? Better conditions have brought about an enormous improvement in our national physique. Our enemies sneer at us. They say we are effete and decadent, a characteristically unfortunate lie as they will find to their cost. Though we have our champions, we don't claim to lead the world in athletic records. We think it more important that people should get enjoyment out of their favorite form of exercise: rowing, running, jumping, or in Scotland, throwing heavy things about in a way that only Scotsmen can understand. Apart from tossing the caber, there is nothing unusual in all this. We have long made up our minds that we should use our bodies for games and sports, and not for building up vast armies with which to terrorize and ultimately subdue our weaker neighbors. We like to win matches, not wars, although if we must have wars, we can win those too. But unfortunately, the new spirit was not universal. While we played or swam or cycled or walked, others preferred to march. While our young men fought friendly battles, they marched in grim regimented hordes, stirred by false ideals, inspired by the blatant trumpet of power. They were soaked in the creed of force with its black and sinister emblem. while we practiced good fellowship. They spent their days in mechanical stepping before a leader whom they worshipped as a god. He gave them the choice of guns or butter, and he made them choose the guns. Still the youth of Britain preferred the arts of peace. Still it was our public choice to watch football or go racing. Still the chief use for our horses was exercise, not to carry cavalry. Still we believed that the best government was that which allowed the maximum freedom to the individual. The Nazi system crushes the individual. Are these men, or is this dipping day on the sheep farm? What is your idea of a holiday? This? Or this? Would you rather hear this going on? Or this?
The most wonderful race of the year! Ihnen gar nichts nützen, denn sie können ja kaufen. The Sport of Kings has tied you in a knot. Foxcar! Wenn wir Geld haben, da hätte man uns. Dann könnten wir heute kaufen. Jahre vorher ausplündern sollen.
Back with the man with the whiskers. Here, 4 blue peas.
Sind wir auch, dass wir kaufen können.
They are the best money can buy. Lovely food. Accommodation.
What is your idea of a ruler? A man who must be protected by armed guards like this? Or a man who need not fear to walk freely like this? The funny part about this song is the more you do it, the harder it gets. When Hitler came to power, he publicly stated his position. In his speech of June the 1st, 1933, he referred to the past war in the following terms. Another outbreak of such a crisis of madness would necessarily involve the destruction of society and the public order.
Der in verbliebenen Waffen zu zerstören, wenn die anliegenden Nationen ebenso restlos das Gleiche tun.
He gave his word that he would uphold the Locarno Treaty. Yet on March the 7th, 1934, he broke the Locarno Treaty. He sent the German army into the Rhineland. All Europe was deeply stirred, but Hitler hastened to set fears at rest. In his honorable, open fashion, he said, "We shall strive for an understanding between European peoples. We have no territorial demands to make in Europe." As his own people listened to him, was there the seed of doubt? Europe was reassured. What of the Austrian Chancellor?
Und seine Ehre in jeder Weise zu wahren wusste. Goodbye.
Hitler had no territorial demands to make. Not in Austria. And Hitler gave the answer in his honorable, open fashion on May the 21st, 1935. Germany neither intends nor wishes to interfere in the internal affairs of Austria or to conclude an Anschluss. A year later, Hitler signed an agreement with Austria guaranteeing the complete sovereignty of the Viennese government. Chancellor Schuschnigg followed Dr. Dollfuss, but Hitler summoned him to Berchtesgaden to be bullied and threatened. The system of power politics was working. March the 12th, 1938, Thus went Austria. With Austria gone, Czechoslovakia was gripped in the wolf-like jaws of the new boundaries of Germany. The tactics that had crushed Austria were used again. Hitler declared that by the 1st of October, he must have the territory occupied by the Sudeten Germans in Czechoslovakia. Thus went Sudetenland. It went all the more easily because on the 27th of September 1938 he had said, "If this problem is solved, there will be no further territorial demands in Europe by Germany. We do not want any Czechs." The Munich Agreement was signed. Sudetenland went back to Germany, and Hitler guaranteed the integrity of the rest of Czechoslovakia. But on March the 15th, 1939, he broke his word again and annexed Bohemia and Moravia. Thus went Czechoslovakia. Next. Next was Memel. The German press cried out that Memel was free. They call it freedom. By this time, the world had ceased to believe any of Hitler's honorable open declarations. For the real Hitler, turn to the revealing pages of his book, Mein Kampf. Read the story of his true ambition in this, the Nazi gospel. Page 754 tells you, "Never allow two continental powers in Europe to arise. Look upon every attempt to organize a second military power on the frontiers of Germany, even though it be only susceptible of military development, as an attack upon Germany, and think it not only a right, but a duty to prevent such a state from arising, or to smash it if it has arisen by every means, including armed force. That is why Poland has been smashed." And on page 742, read why any power but Germany should be smashed. Germany will become a world power, or it will not be at all. Hitler says he loves peace, but on page 315, he tells you what kind of peace he loves. The ideas of pacifism and humanity may be quite good after the supreme race has conquered and subdued the world in such measure as makes him its exclusive master. Therefore, first fight, and then perhaps pacifism. So history repeats itself. As in 1914, the world has no choice. We remember the famous words of Bethmann Hollweg.
The step taken by the British government is terrible to a degree. Great Britain is going to make war against a kindred nation who desired nothing better than to be friends with her. Just for a word. Just for a scrap of paper.
Britain awoke. It was clear that war could not be avoided by negotiation. Britain must be strong. Hitler's real ambition lay naked in the cold light of truth. The German leader aimed at dominating the whole of Europe, and Britain must defend her freedom once again. Britain's navy in 1939 was still the greatest navy the world had ever known. The proud tradition of the army is that it always wins the last battle, and the introduction of compulsory service added enormous reserves of manpower to the efficient regulars of peacetime. "600 years of tradition from Crécy to Compiègne have covered the British soldier with glory. Add to that modern mechanization. British industry is second to none, and in building up its new equipment from anti-aircraft guns to tanks, miracles have been accomplished which amazed the world's military experts. Our famous cavalry regiments employed their qualities of dash and hard riding in driving mobile forts at ever-increasing speed. Artillery was motor-drawn, and infantry was no longer trained merely to work on foot. Speed in moving, tremendous striking power, and power where the deadly machine gun largely took the place of the rifle. And with the regulars and the militia worked the territorials, a voluntary army of young men who gave their leisure to their country's defense. Young men who became a vital factor in the gigantic war machine. Then, the youngest service of them all. In the war of 1914-1918, the Royal Air Force grew from a small experimental force to become undisputed masters of the sky. Each following year, the Hendon pageant of the Royal Air Force demonstrated breathtaking skill and parade ground precision in this new element of war. Rapidly have we advanced that these pictures, taken 2 years ago at the last Hendon Air Display, are already out of date. But what a story they tell of skill and relentless striking power.
Becoming air-minded. Yes, but not war-minded. Hello, Schulenburg. How do you like the show?
Oh, marvelous. Ah. Wunderbar. Huh? Wunderbar.
Oh.
Germany might scoff. These pictures are still the old pictures, but since that time the Air Force has expanded into the magnificent service that it is today. Once again, second to none. Ready for anything, no matter how difficult and dangerous. Britain founded her greatness on the sea. The spirit of those great names of old lives once more in those who dare the uncharted heights of heaven. Nelson, Drake, Frobisher, Raleigh. The dauntless courage that made them famous is born anew in these young captains of the clouds.
Gee, it's worthwhile coming all the way from little old Montreal to join these boys. Here's your husband. You ought to feel like $1 million.
Please, darling?
So, not bad. Some of those new buses are quite good. Schulenburg says it's wunderbar.
And you believe him?
Shouldn't wunder.
All honor to these pilots and their crews, and honor, too, to the ground staff. For to their knowledge and experience and devotion to duty, the flying men trust their lives. Every part of every machine must be tuned to concert pitch and ready to bear the strain of battle at 6 miles a minute. They must never make a mistake. Nor must the craftsmen who make the machines. We learned early in our history to study our weapons as well as our men. Cressy and Agincourt were won, partly because the English archers were the best in the world, but partly also because they carried the best bows. So today, into our fighters go the soundest material, the most careful workmanship. In the construction of aircraft, there is the choice of 2 policies. You may decide to build the best possible machine, a machine to last its natural life apart from the risk of war, or you may calculate what is the average life of a machine in wartime and build only to that. The advantage of the second method is that you economize, both in materials and in labor. The aircraft, you say, is only likely to last for so many flying hours before being shot down. So why waste time and money and good material and craftsmanship to make it any better than it probably need be? Probably. That is the test word. Probably is not good enough for our Air Ministry, who have turned down that specious policy and argument flat. British pilots and crews shall have only the finest aircraft that our factories can produce. The British Royal Air Force shall never be let down by its aircraft. As with the fighters, so with the bombers. Here you see the famous Wellingtons, the type that went out on the Kiel raid. Designed on the remarkable geodetic principle of construction, they carry a formidable weight of bombs for an immense distance at high speed, and they are manned by a crew of 5, pilot, navigator, wireless officer, gunner, and bomb aimer. A corridor runs the entire length of the aircraft. The pilot is able to maintain contact with the whole crew. Great tasks have already been carried out by these aircraft, and there are more to come. From aircraft to anti-aircraft guns. The modern bomber cannot be compared with that of 20 years ago, but nor can the modern AA gun. Guided by the modern searchlight, by the new detectors and rangefinders, their fire is truly formidable. Shall we be short of material? No. We have natural resources within our empire that can scarcely be exhausted no matter how long the struggle. The furnaces in our foundries will not die, nor the lathes in the shops stop turning, until there is no more need for these weapons of defense. At the beginning of the last war, guns were starved of ammunition. We have not made that mistake again. Bombs. So many already in storage that manufacture could almost be suspended. Bombs, not for defenseless towns, not to break the morale of the civilian population, but for military and naval objectives, to let frightfulness have a taste of frightfulness. Factory upon factory feed the insatiable machine guns. This is the strength of the nation. Bullets, guns, shells. Bullets, guns, shells. And production is expanding with a momentum that day by day increases until it reaches vast proportions hitherto undreamed of. For a long time now, Germany has been producing war materials on a wartime scale. Her administration has been intoxicated by power of armaments. Her national energy has been exclusively concentrated on turning out the dreadful engines of war. Such a program over a period of peacetime years could only show one result. That long, dreary, selfish road trodden by her rulers could only lead her people to bankruptcy and want. But even in peacetime, in the year that followed the disillusionment of Munich, Britain was catching up. Britain was overhauling the Nazi production machine, and Britain is now working up towards a new peak. We are fresh. We come into this race that was made necessary, fit and confident. Production has not yet grown stale and begun to tire. If it should be a long war, if that forecast of a 3-year struggle should really come true, it is not hard to calculate which side will endure. We have at our disposal resources that far outstrip the German. The wheels of their industry are slowing down. Ours are starting up. On top of that, we know that our cause is just. Every man and woman knows why we are fighting. We have not been misled by false promises. We have not been tricked into a world catastrophe by deceit and vanity and lies. Not for us, the terrible awakening that must come sooner or later to the German people. We hoped that reason might prevail, but the fate that had overwhelmed Austria and Czechoslovakia enveloped Poland too. For 2 days we waited in suspense while the Prime Minister made one last effort for peace. He gave Germany until 11 o'clock on Sunday, September the 3rd, to withdraw their troops from Poland, 21 years after the end of that war to end war. And then he spoke to the nation.
Up to the very last, it would have been quite possible to have arranged a peaceful and honorable settlement between Germany and Poland, but Hitler would not have it. He had evidently made up his mind to attack Poland whatever happened. We have a clear conscience. We have done all that any country could do to establish peace. But a situation in which no word given by Germany's ruler could be trusted, and no people or country could feel itself safe, had become intolerable. At such a moment as this, the assurances of support which we have received from the Empire are a source of profound encouragement to us. Now may God bless you all, and may he defend the right, for it is evil things that we shall be fighting against: brute force, bad faith, injustice, oppression, and persecution. And against them I am certain that the right will prevail.
What was that? A weird war?
Prime Minister just broadcast.
What did he say yesterday? To satisfy one man's vain, senseless ambition.
He did his best to stop it, if ever a man did.
Yes.
Now we're in it.
Well, I'm glad. At least we know where we are.
What are you doing here, darling?
We're on our way to a new station. We've only got 1 second.
Darling, are we ready?
What do you mean, are we prepared? We've never been better prepared. Darling.
Good luck.
Darling,
Yes.
let's get married when I get back.
Yes.
God bless you, my dear. Go on, Bobby. We've got to go. Goodbye, June.
Darling. God bless you, darling.
Bye.
Well, air raid. You ready? First aid post. Get your things quick. I'll get the car.
So it began. That first air raid was false alarm, but so it began. All the filthy inhumanity of war. Yes, whether we liked it or not, it was war. An unbelievable catastrophe had visited this peaceful countryside, but we were prepared. Behind each bushy hedgerow, a battleship of the sky stood ready, massive, forbidding, deadly, the symbol of modern power, waiting for the word to go. And while pilots passed the time, waiting for orders to avenge the outrage of the Athenia. Orders were on the way.
Bomber command?
Yes, sir. Air Ministry here, sir.
Yes. Check your time, will you? Yes, that's right. 0 hour, 19 hours.
Very good, sir. Number 1 group, operate 0 hour 1900. Number 2 group, operate 0 hour 1900.
0 hour 1900. Ambry, you will commence ray table number 1 at 0 hour 1900. Great Milton, you will commence ray table number 3 at 0 plus 10. 0 hour 1900.
0 hour 1900. Right, thanks. You heard that?
Yes, sir.
Have you got all the necessary information?
Yes, sir.
I expect you'd like A flight for raid number 1.
Yes, sir.
And I suppose you would like your B flight for raid number 2.
Yes.
All right, carry on.
Baron, can I have your pilots and crews here in a quarter of an hour? Right. Kill.
Out of their lofty hangars came the flights selected for a hazardous job. Sky battleships, armed and equipped with all that military science and technical skill could devise. Messengers of heaven, yet it had not been our will that sent them forth. Inexhaustible supplies of petrol, the lifeblood of modern war. Fewer cars and buses on the home front, more planes on the war front. Millions of gallons of alcohol, and not a hiccup in a tank full. Fore and aft, they carried machine guns, guns that spit out a double stream of bullets swifter than thought itself. Next to go in is the complicated apparatus for bomb aiming. For bombing now is exact and mathematical. Speed of flight, strength of wind, altitude, 100 factors must be taken into account before the pressure of a thumb lets loose these tons of roaring chaos. With the utmost care and precision, they load up their cargo of destruction. No mistakes. They don't want any dropping out too soon. Nor do we. But even on a job that carries a 50-50 chance of death, these wonderful boys start out with a light heart and a joke. And pilots and crews go in to receive their orders.
All the people here?
Yes.
How many aircraft?
Full 6.
Right. Well, you're in luck. No propaganda leaflets this time. It's the real thing.
Good.
Now, we've received information that the German pocket battleships are making towards the mouth of the Kiel Canal. By the time you get there, they should be just inside. Your job is to secure direct hits on the battleships. 6 copies of your route and weather forecast. You cross the coast at Sheringham. Fighter command will be informed. Change the course to 110 degrees. From there on, you can expect air resistance from Sylt. Now, your final course is 145 degrees for those on target 1. 121 degrees for those on target 2. You'll see here where you're likely to encounter gunfire. The red pins indicate heavy anti-aircraft. The black pins, 2.7. About 10 miles from your target is a hospital. It's a large white building. You can't possibly mistake it. But you must get those battleships. Okay. As you'll be over your objective in daylight, I want cameras taken, of course. Exact data of what we achieve is particularly important. Now, anything else?
Well, there's just one thing. I take it there's no balloon barrage there?
Not if you stick to your route.
Good. Well, that's the lot. Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck, boys.
Thanks.
What about our little party tonight?
What are you doing tomorrow?
Okay, make it tomorrow.
Captains of aircraft, your routes and forecasts. Get your maps marked out. Now, you heard what was said. We've got to get direct hits. Type of attack will depend on local conditions, but I'm pretty certain it'll be low-level bombing. I'll let you know in the air. Stick to me if you possibly can, but if anybody gets lost, just make his way home independently and dump his bombs in the sea. Now, we'll be heavily loaded, so individual takeoffs, of course. All happy about your machines?
Yes.
Good. Carry on.
Engines throb and leap to life. They start out for Kiel.
Grade number 1 airborne, sir.
Group operations. Raid number 1, airborne, 0 plus 32.
Fighter command? Our first raids have taken off. Here are some details for your plotting table. Raid table number 1. Raid number 1 started 0 plus 1. Raid number 2, 0 plus 3.
They're heading east on a great adventure. The bow gunner ready in the forward turret. The navigator amidships busy at his charts, plotting the course. And in the tail, another gunner. A solitary sentinel protecting the ship from attack from the rear. But it's a long time before there's any excitement yet, except for the wireless operator.
See if you can pick up Mr. Middleton.
It's vibrating a bit in the tail, sir. May I rest up for a bit? Wait a minute.
What's our latest position? About another hour at our present speed before we change the course.
All right, Saunders. Bill, take over for a minute, will you? Anything doing?
Nothing from our side, of course, sir. Wireless silence was ordered. Seems to be some activity from German station AZ2, but it's all in code.
Saunders, back in the tail, half an hour.
They've been on their course now for an hour of steady flying. The sight of a ship below is a welcome break in the monotony of sea.
Destroyer ahead, sir. Ours or theirs? Ours, I think.
Through the sky. Getting close now. Time to take up battle stations. The pilot goes back to his controls. The navigator now constantly at his elbow.
Changing course in about 5 minutes. Let me know.
Time for the rear gunner to go back to the tail. The bomb aimer leaves the forward gun. The wireless operator goes forward. No need for wireless now. He steps over the bomb aimer, who crouches down getting his sights lined up, and he makes his way to the gun turret.
Alter course to 110 degrees.
Going down to 100 feet for the run into the coast.
Going in low to avoid the arches.
Excitement down there.
See that? Ship's crew's bathing.
Can't have expected us. There she is. Signal for line astern. Right. Here we go. Steady.
Kolega kameramensus niet aan je tail.
German pursuit planes were shaken off. The flight of bombers returned home. They had dropped their bombs, not upon unfortified towns, but on a heavily protected naval base, a legitimate target of modern warfare, an objective bristling with anti-aircraft guns and guarded with fighters. They came back to their home aerodrome, but not all came back. But they had achieved what they set out to do, and they drew first blood of the war that was none of their making. It was an epic of the skies, carried out with brilliant dash and matchless courage. And although you have been watching a reconstruction of that raid upon the Kiel Canal, the men you now see stepping out of these bombers are the officers and men of the RAF who actually carried out that heroic raid. These are the men who flew the planes and dropped the bombs on Hitler's battleships. We have seen how Britain can strike when she chooses, but we do not expect to read of such exploits every day. What is of constant interest is to learn how we can protect our own country from undesirable visitors. What is the organization that exists to counter and eventually to conquer German bombing attacks? Fast machines, fighters, interceptors, pursuit planes, and of course, personnel. There is no lack of men for the machines. Men who will prove themselves worthy successors to the great war aces, Leif Robinson and Ball and Bishop, and leaders who have the confidence of the rank and file, and men of experience, and a new form of defense never before tried in warfare, the balloon barrage, a chain of blimps that trail invisible steel wires, death to the invader. The object of the balloon barrage is to force enemy planes to a height at which they can become a better target for anti-aircraft fire, or an easier victim for defending fighters. Not only that, accurate bombing becomes impossible. Anti-aircraft guns. The range and volume and rapidity of fire of the latest anti-aircraft guns are official secrets, closely guarded. It is sufficient to know that they fling upward a hail of metal that changes the sky into an inferno. Searchlights pierce the darkest corners of the heavens. Scientific equipment works out the height and speed of approaching planes, while at every point on our coast, watchers are always on the lookout. So, come to Berlin. Let's be in at the start as an order for a bombing raid is rapped out by the German Chief of Air Staff. The chief of the Nazi bomber group hands on precise instructions to a German bomber station.
Wenden Sie sich südwärts nach.
And the commanding officer of the bomber station addresses his officers, a striking contrast to the friendly atmosphere that is Britain's way.
Haben Sie es verstanden?
Der Befehl, Herr Oberst. Danke, meine Herren. Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
The necessary activity on the aerodrome may be kept undercover, but Britain too has undercover methods of getting advance information.
Any intent, Dicker? What's that? A match.
Oh, yes.
Activity at Pirate Squadron AZ2.
Activity Pirate Squadron AZ2.
AZ2.
Code group X74479.
X74479.
Right.
Air Ministry? Yes, sir.
Here you are for the old man.
Right.
Chief of Air Staff speaking. I've just received information that an enemy attack is expected tonight. Where's your barrage?
Very good.
somewhere in Britain, its existence and communications completely protected from the enemy, is an organization known as Fighter Command. It is in direct communication with the Air Ministry and all defense units. In supreme control is the Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief. He is the brain. The whole of the rest of the organization are his nerves, his limbs, his fingers. A large staff of telephonists remains on duty night and day to receive reports as they come in from every post in the country, observer posts, and all other sources of information. Each individual section of the Fighter Command is in a separate soundproof compartment behind glass. And spread in front of them all on this huge table is a map of the eastern half of Britain, the North Sea, and the German coast. A message comes through to the Air Officer C&C.
Chief of Air Staff, sir.
Yes? I've just received information that an enemy attack is expected tonight.
Tonight's the night.
Give me number one
Yes,
control.
we're all ready. No observer standing by.
Just checking up, sir.
To think that for years I've been wanting a dark room for developing, and now that every room in the house is dark, I'm stuck out here in the bushes listening to the birds.
Listening for them, you mean?
Hello? Yes, sir. Standing by. They expect them tonight.
Observers post. Numbers 115 to 127 in readiness.
All observers standing by, sir.
ARP. Stand by. They're coming over tonight. Anti-aircraft. We've just received news that tonight's the night.
General call. Very good, sir. All right, boys, get your boots on and get ready to give old Adolf a kick in the fence. Yes, sir. Stand by, boys, to welcome the nasties.
Northern group standing by.
Northern group standing by, sir.
Midland group all set.
Midland group all set, sir.
Southern group all standing by.
Southern group all ready, sir.
Stand by, everyone. Stand by.
Back at Fighter Command. All is ready. Almost hidden in the darkness, the British fighters are waiting for the word to take off. Anti-aircraft batteries at the ready. Sound detectors strain to hear the drone of enemy engines. Searchlights stab the blackness with a silver sword. Britain, soldier and civilian, stands on guard. As it was 3.5 centuries ago, when the proud armada sailed up the English Channel. Night sunk upon the dusky beach, and on the purple sea. Such night in England ne'er had been, nor e'er again shall be. From Eddystone to Berwick Bounds, from Lynn to Milford Bay, that time of slumber was as bright and busy as the day. For swift to east and swift to west, the ghastly war flame spread. Then bugles note and cannons roar, the death-like silence broke, and with one start and with one cry, the royal city woke. Broader still became the blaze and louder still the din, as fast from every village round the horse came clattering in.
To live or die amongst you all. to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and for my people, my honor and my blood, even in the dust. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and valor of a king, and of a king of England, too. Not Spain, nor any prince of Europe shall dare to invade the borders of my realm. Pluck up your hearts. By your peace in camp and your valor in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory.
Floor, sir. Floor. First clock coming on the table, sir.
How many? And at what height? 8. At 8,000.
RP, warn London area number 1. Hold on a minute, RP. Wash out previous instructions. Warn all areas.
London, all areas.
London, all areas.
Northern Group. Raids 4 and 5 entering your sector. Carry on and deal with them. Midland Group. Raid 3 entering your area. Carry on and deal with it. Southern Group. Raids 1 and 2 entering your area. Carry on and deal with them.
Yes, sir. Raids 1 and 2.
2 raids are anticipated in the Southern Group Command. To them goes the order to repel the raiders.
Braxted?
Group Command brings Braxted Fighter Station.
Station Control. Serial number 1, Flight A, Squadron 299, Raid number 1.
Okay. The arrow representing the German raid is transferred from the plotting table to the action table.
A Flight 299.
Take off.
Flight A airborne, sir. Okay. Put B flight at residence.
B flight 299.
Cornflower Red calling station control. Cornflower Red calling station control. Over to you. Over.
Cornflower Red. 80 degrees. 2,000 feet a minute. Speed 180. Speed 180.
Okay, Ted?
Right with you, Bob.
Okay, Dopey?
Hey, Dopey, are you okay?
What? Oh, good Lord, yes. All serene.
Over. Cornflower Red. 80 degrees. 80 degrees. Level. Speed 360.
Okay, gang, let's go.
Alter course, sir.
Over. Cornflower Red. Alter course 92 degrees. 92 degrees. Level, speed 360. Cornflower Red. 5 bend. 6 miles. Southwest. Circle. Should be any minute now.
calling station control. Cornflower Red calling station control. Have brought down two bandits. Remainder proceeding east. May I continue action? Over to you. Over.
Cornflower Red, good work. Carry on. 2.
Red.
Not so dusty.
The first raid has been driven back, but a second is on the way.
OP 127 here. Enemy aircraft overhead.
Rexted.
Serial number 2, Flight B, Squadron 299, raid number 2.
Very good, sir. B flight. Raid number 2. Take off.
Searchlights and anti-aircraft go into action.
You got him, Charlie. Hold him, Charlie.
Double, can't you?
Right.
Johns, there's a job for you on square K29. Better warn your people before we cop it from your guns.
Ceasefire! They would. A blinking RAF swipes all the fun.
The worst part of our job, just waiting.
A flight to be back soon. B flight has taken over in the air. A flight returns to the aerodrome to refuel and restock with ammunition. Ground staff are waiting, and they race out to the machines that have come back for second breath. In the ghostly, shrouded blackness of the aerodrome, everything goes with clockwork smoothness, as if they were working in broad daylight.
Cornflower Blue calling station control. 2 bandits down. Remaining 2 have entered clouds over sea and are heading east. 2 of our aircraft forced to land. Should we proceed with action? Over to you. Over.
We've been up half an hour, sir. Must be short of petrol.
Cornflower Blue. Discontinue action and return. Any luck?
No more, sir. Guns run out.
You did very well. Get your craft available and rest.
Well, they're working on them now, sir. We'll be ready in 20 minutes' time. You send up my fighter again, sir?
I said rest.
Very good, sir.
Cheeky devil.
More gallons of petrol go into the fighters' tanks. Fuel for the engines. Food for the guns. The flight commander took a crack from one of the bomber's guns, but it only tore the fuselage and he's ready for duty again when he's wanted. Now we pick up German raid number 3.
Southern Group. Raid 3 entering your area is now allocated to you.
Yes, sir. Raid 3. He's coming into the balloon barrage.
And climb. They dare not face the entanglement of those awful strands of steel. The balloons have forced them up too high for accurate bombing. They turn and make for home. And their departure is recorded at Fighter Command.
Heading east. They're on the run.
Braxton?
Station Control.
Serial number 3, Squadron 301, raid number 3.
Very good, sir. About time, too. Hello? Take off.
Yes, they're on the run. But a new squadron of Spitfires leaves the drome and hurtles up into the inky sky. They're racing out towards the coast like black bullets, while every mile is followed on the chart, closing the distance between the fighters in pursuit and the bombers heading for home. Over the coastline.
Ah! Easy.
Out over the sea to home and safety. But the fighters are coming up fast.
They should be due east.
In front of you.
You understand me?
No.
Your luck.
What's that on our right?
Sunflower calling station control. Enemy sighted. I'm overtaking fast.
Some damn good chaps in this station.
Sunflower calling station control. I'm about to engage. I'm about to engage. Number 3 attack. Go!
If it is my call, may hear something.
Sunflower calling station control. Sunflower calling station control. 4 bandits down.
4, good work.
Remainder have escaped in clouds. No casualties. Repeat, no casualties. May I have permission to return? Over to you, over.
Sunflower, Sunflower, station control. Calling Sunflower. Return at once. Good work. 4. What the hell are you doing here?
Well, sir,
I thought I told you to rest.
Yes, sir. That makes 8 for this station, sir.
By Jove, yes, it does. 8.
All clear signal, sir.
All clear, eh?
From Commander-in-Chief, sir.
Ah, he's very pleased with the work of all stations. I bet none of the others got 8. All units engaged in tonight's action to take their spell of rest off immediately on returning.
Very good, sir.
That includes you.
But supposing they come over again?
Get out.
Very good.
And give her my love.
Very good, sir.
Well, your spell off. Fine. Well, good night or good morning.
Good night, sir.
Good morning. Darling? Hey. Where have you been?
Night shift.
This is a fine war. Women go out and the husbands wait at home for them.
How long have you been waiting?
Must be a full minute.
How long have you got?
12 hours. We've had a pretty concentrated stretch lately.
Any luck?
Oh, yes, everything went according to schedule. Very much to schedule.
Poor darling, you must be tired. I'll get you some breakfast and you can go to bed.
No, look, let's take the car down on the river for a couple of hours first, shall we? Oh, no, I'm a selfish pig. You must be dead beat.
Oh, no, darling. I was hoping you'd suggest it. And we've just got enough petrol ration. Darling, isn't it nice to be together again?
Get a warm coat, will you? Come on. Isn't this perfect?
Mm-hmm. Darling, I couldn't help thinking as I sat in the restroom last night. There was nothing to do. We're getting used to alarms with nothing happening, only listening to the drone of our own engines. Well, I was thinking about women. For centuries in this country, they've given their lovers, husbands, sons, first to the earth to defend their land, and then to the sea. And now they've got to give them to the air. They've never complained. Often and often they've lost the one man in the world that counted, that expressed the whole of life to them. They've bitterly resented the stupidity and brutality that made it necessary. But that it was necessary they never questioned. We must keep our land, darling. We must keep our freedom. We must fight for what we believe in. Truth and beauty and fair play and kindness. So that even if we don't live to enjoy life founded on the good things, at least our children may. Eh, darling?
No longer do we fight wars for jealousy or greed, nor do we fight in anger. We fight because we must, for just those things that we hold so dear. We can learn from the motto of the Royal Air Force, per ardua ad astra, through ordeal to the stars, through endeavor to triumph, through trial to victory.